Hello,
Hello.
how you
How are
doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Thanks for willing to do this, Ellen.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm gonna be real honest, but seeing you here reminds me of how I interviewed your husband, Richard, 1 year ago. And
Oh,
he's an amazing person, actually. Since and I just had a thought that of interviewing his wife one day. And well, I finally made that dream come true right there.
okay.
But to be more precise, I've been getting to know so much about you since Masaki Kurosaki from Bleach. And since that, I've been getting to know so much about your voice acting career. And to be
Oh,
honest with you, you have such an amazing voice to be in a lot of projects over the years.
thank you.
It's always what I do. I often tell this to a lot of people, and they often come to respect me due to my enthusiasm of me being autistic in a way. But anyway, I've got many questions I wanted to ask you.
Absolutely. Ask away.
Tell me, how is it like being a voice actor in many animated projects?
Well, I'll tell you, I started this like 1980, I think was when I started. I had just finished being one of the stars in a film, and they asked me at the end if I'd like to do some voice work. I had never planned on doing voice work. That was not my goal. It was not my beacon. It was it wasn't even a vision in my head. And so anyhow, I said, well, I have a boyfriend. Do you need male voices? And they said, yes. Anyhow, that was the beginning of Richard and I doing voice work.
I see, which leads me to the most important question. How did you get into voice acting, and what is the best decision you made so far that has excelled into your voice acting career? For what purpose?
Well, first of all, as I said, I had just finished starring in a film and I was asked to do some voice work. And that was the beginning. That's how I started. And then it just kept going. I never stopped through all these years. Um, I never planned on voice work being a major part of my career, but it's become that.
Interesting. So that's how you got into voice acting, because of
Yeah.
all that experience right there. And
Well, I'm an actress. I'm a classically trained actress, and so all the training, all the experience as an actress, I bring that to every single one of my roles that I do. And so voice acting isn't just doing a voice. It's uh it's doing a character. It's being creative. It's acting. There's no difference between acting for voice or acting on camera or acting on stage. But the difference is you use different parts of the instrument. In voice acting, you use your voice. When you're doing stage, it's larger. The whole persona is larger. And then when you do camera acting on camera, it's a little smaller because the camera's right up against your face. But all of it's acting.
that's a very good lesson I'm beginning to learn from you. And I'm very intrigued about that from what you said. But you know what? To be honest with you, I'm very glad that you gave me that understanding behind it. and I'm glad you were able to show it off to me.
Oh,
But
good.
anyway, for the about the characters, about the questions, but what was your first ever character you played as in like your first ever voice acting role, way before many others yet to come?
Um, well, I don't remember the character that I first did, but the first, I mean, I go back to Robotech, and I did a whole bunch of female parts in that. Um, there were only two females, major females in Robotech, but I did tons of subsidiary characters in that. There was an early there was an early film that I did called The Legend of Ping Ping. It was a live action adventure children's film, and it was about a panda bear and a grandpa.
And I remember I played the panda bear like this. His name was Ping Ping. And he would go walking through the forest and he would have adventures.
That was Ping Ping, I
I,
think.
I see. So that was your first ever character.
No, it wasn't my first one, but it's the first one that I remember doing that had a lot of impact on me. There were a lot of Mexican telenovas that I did. They're soap operas. Um, I did a lot of Grimm's fairy tales. Um, I remember there was one there was a Tom Sawyer fairy tale I remember, and I played Aunt Polly. There were I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of roles, and I don't remember all of them.
I see. I'm just trying to make sure so that for from what you say about Robotech, I'm just trying to make sure so that just in case if I ever do a voice showcase video for you, I'll make sure I make him into chronological order.
Thank you.
It's what
Thank
I do best,
you.
always. Plus, plus I'm a good flexible person who come to understands people's perspectives. That's why I often prefer to just be a very chill person who just well, when it comes to understanding life itself, however, just making sure I do things right. But anyway, about the characters, but how does it feel about playing Agatha in Pokemon Generations?
Go Jenga! Um, she's just uh, 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 she's fiery and nasty, and I she was fun to do. Um, I also directed the series, as a matter of fact. Um, but I auditioned for Agatha and was cast. She was a lot of fun to do. And she's one of the characters that when I go to conventions, people often want me to sign a picture for her. She's a lot of fun.
Interesting. So
I
that's what
under, I understand she's very difficult to beat in the game.
Yep, that's what most people say about this, but from because all I know is that you playing Agatha was a very awesome thing right there. Plus, an old friend of mine actually voiced Agatha once in 2019. My friend Dorothy Fun in Pokemon Masters. But you playing her was actually the best choice there. Plus, from you know what the funny thing is?
What?
The funny thing is that the video I made for you on my YouTube channel, the characters and voice actors of the Pokemon generations is where I put you next to Richard as a way for you to be together right there. But you
Ah,
but you two aren't the only couple that I put together, but my other two good friends, Lex Lang and Sandy Fox as well, as a way for you to be loving lovers forever. That's what I
well,
do.
well, thank you so much, Sebastian. Richard and I got married in 19 1982.
Wow.
A
That's
long,
an that's an interesting thing I'm beginning to learn from you.
a long time ago.
Wow. That's super awesome. Loving it.
So
But
this will
oh,
be our 42nd anniversary in August.
oh, oh, I see. But anyway, back in the topics of characters, but how is it like being part of the movie Belle as Okamoto?
Oh, it was great fun. I was so glad to do Belle's mother. And she was sassy. She was very straight talking and very upfront. And I got to sing in that. And that was a lot of fun. She was a great character.
I
It's a
see.
beautiful, beautiful movie.
That's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to learn from you because all I know is that I've seen the movie and it's actually very awesome, actually. Plus, Michael Nicholas and Stephanie Shea bringing you in there is a very good thing, especially when you tag along with two of my good friends, Wendy Lee and Jessica G. George, who Jessica G. George I recently got interviewed of a few days ago. And honestly, you three being together is like something else there. It's like,
Jessica and I are good friends.
yes, indeed. Her sons are actually big fans of my YouTube channel, as she told
Oh,
me, and that
wonderful.
one of them is autistic, like
Yes,
me.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I know. Uh, actually, Richard and I directed them. We did it was an Aladdin movie, not the one you're used to, but this was a UK Aladdin. And we brought her two sons, Grant and Jessica's sons, in to do voice work for us.
Wow, that's an interesting thing that I'm beginning to learn. And you know what? Thank you for telling me that. Oh, I appreciate what you're telling me.
Of course.
Thank you. But anyway, how's it like being one of the female avatar voices from the game Street Fighter 6?
Oh, that has been lovely because I did it like years ago. And when Street Fighter 6 came out, I thought that's the end of the character. And she's my avatar has a real gravelly voice. But anyhow, I thought that was the end of the character. But I keep getting brought in every few months because they update the game and they update the lines that are in there for the players. So that is a role that keeps on giving.
I see. So that's what you like about playing that character. Because all I know is that I've actually got to meet with Kyle Aber and Jessica Strauss in the game, and you being part of it is the best choice right there. Just like Richard Epcar got to be in Street Fighter 5 back then, you
Right.
are now it's your turn to be in it. But you know what the best part is?
What?
When I got the game, I've chosen you for my avatar since
Oh,
it's
did you?
Ellyn Stern forever.
Did you? How was it playing my character?
You are magnificent. Just
Oh,
showing off a lot of steam when it comes to, interacting with a lot of people, such as Alex Lee through Griffin Batu, through Jessica Strauss, and everybody. It's something unexpected that, boy, Ellen really is a very good person right there.
thank you. Thank you.
Always. That's what I often
You
do.
know, you know what, the challenging thing about that role was
What is it?
there's there's a lot of Japanese words in there, and you have to say them exactly correctly.
Oh, that's an interesting thing I'm beginning to learn. Honestly, I often practice those Japanese words every time when it comes to anime, so it's a
Oh,
challenge
good.
that I need to do for me. So,
Oh,
yeah.
good. Good.
But anyway, how do you like about playing the character Tamiko in Fighting Spirit?
Oh, it was great. It was absolutely great. It was a lot of fun. I love doing games because uh, games are a little bit different than anime because you bring a larger persona to the character. You get to have a little more largesse. You get to have a little more uh, largeness to each of the commands and to what you're doing. Whereas anime is a little bit sized down,
Interesting.
smaller,
So, so that's what you like about playing that character. Because all I know is,
and doing games.
oh, games. Right. Yeah, I'm trying to get that right. Because all I know is that you being Tomiko was actually a very good choice there, you know? Plus, Richard bringing you there like a very long time ago in 2004 was like a very huge thing right there. Just gives you a lot of time to just make you so awesome, which you always are in a way. And
Thank you.
always.
You know, I have to tell you,
What
the
is it?
roles that I get, all of them, I have to audition for them with other actors. So they look at my voice, they look at what I bring to the character, and then they cast me because of my talent. I don't get into a thing because I'm directing it. I don't get into it because Richard's directing it. You know, we
Oh,
have to audition for everything.
oh. I see. I'm just trying to understand correctly from what
Of
you're saying.
course.
But anyway, what's the most awesome thing when playing Haraway in Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence?
Um, excuse me.
It's okay.
I've still got a little bit of tickle from that bad cold.
Oh,
I was in bed for just 2.5 days. It was
oh,
so awful. And then I did a play and I had to be okay to do the play reading.
oh,
Um, anyhow, so I've still got a little bit of it. Haraway. I love the character of Haraway. She's kind of like dry leaves. She's very robotic. She's very factual, and um, she's very crisp in her delivery. And she's part machine. She opens up her head, and the front of her head is no longer human. It's a machine.
I
She was a
see.
lot of fun.
I see. So that's what you like about playing that character. Because all I know is that you being part of it was just a very unique choice there, you know? When you got, and you're, with that scene where you, Richard, and Crispin Freeman were together, your natural tone is what makes things more interesting in a way. But honestly, I often come to respect your voice acting and Barbara Goodson's voice, and I don't care about what whose voices are there. I just prefer both of them much better due to me respecting a lot of people in a way.
Well, thank you for that.
It's always what I do, you know. Respect is something I have learned from experience myself.
That's
So,
wonderful, Sebastian.
of course, it's what I often do. But anyway, what was your favorite part about being the voice of Martha Vist Carbine in Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn and Narrative?
I did Martha Vist Carbine in a bunch of series and a bunch of movies. She, I loved her. She was the villainess of the piece, and that character I did for like 5 years. So it was a lot of fun being able to do her and keep doing the same character over and over again. And she was very real. I don't know whether you've seen it, but she's a very real character. And outside of, you think of villains as being villainous with the twirling of the mustache, or a villainess being just very commanding and dismissive and authoritative. She wasn't like that at all. She was different. She was real. And she had a very strong agenda. And I like doing her a lot. And again, Stephanie Shea and Michael Center Nicholas directed all those.
Interesting. So that's what you like
So
about.
Michael and Stephanie and I and Richard were all very good friends. And I've directed Michael, I've directed Stephanie, they've directed me. So we've been doing this for many years.
Holy crap. I did not notice that you directed them before until you told me, but
Oh,
thank you for
yeah.
letting me know of this. But to tell you, to put it plainly, you being part of Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn and Narrative was actually a very good choice there. And in you being that character is just something else when it comes to villains, you know? But it's because a lot of times most villains usually do this because of, their motivation and their desire of wanting to just get better. Also because of tragic backstories that they've went through.
Mhm.
Because like most people usually say, villains aren't vi villains aren't born evil. They were made.
Well, somebody becomes villainous when they make choices that are not without heart. I feel when you go forward as a human being or as a character, and your greed and your narcissism becomes more important than your love of human beings and humanity and heart, that's when villains are born.
Hmm. And that right here, what you're saying, that is true. It is all true from what you're saying, due to everything that I have seen so far in real life. But anyway, what's the most biggest thing when being part of the Lupin the Third franchise as many various characters?
I have done leads in so many of the shows. I've been doing Lupin the Third since its inception. My my very favorite character that I've done was uh, oh, I remembered the title. It was called Legend of the Gold of Babylon. And I played this character, Rosetta, and she was an old lady who was drunk all the time, who was an alien. And she is so funny. She's so funny. If you get a chance, watch that one. It's one of the most out there Lupin the Thirds, and it's so funny. And
Interesting.
also, I sing in that one.
That's the most interesting thing I'm beginning to hear from you because
And
yeah,
and I'll sing you the song if I can remember it.
oh, be my guest.
Uh, she was drunk when she was singing this.
How many miles to Babylon? 70 miles and 10, la la la. Can I get there through candlelight? Yes, and back again.
Anyhow, she's really funny and she's so goofy.
Wow. You know, to be honest, you actually have a very beautiful voice of singing right there. And
I do
that
sing.
and you just put joy on my heart right now when you
Oh,
just sang.
thank you, Sebastian.
That's what I often do, always understanding the perspective behind it. But anyway, what's so awesome when a being part of Skip Beat as a commie?
Well, I don't remember the role, but Richard and I co-directed that one.
Hmm.
And it was very, very short. It wasn't a very long show, but oh no, I'm talking about something else. Oh, I
Hmm.
remember what it is now. Skippy.
Talisman Jaff.
Okay. Uh Skippy was a lot of fun. And I did enjoy doing that character a lot. Um, Christina V brought me in for that one.
Oh, that's an interesting thing right there. Because all I know is that from behind the voice actors, it seems like not only Christina V, but Talisman Jav was able to voice direct you into that one. Because you being part
Yeah.
of it, just an amazing job for bringing you here, just bringing a lot of steam to representing who you are and
Thank
knowing.
you. She was a mother, and it was a very, very she was a very nurturing mother. So I enjoyed doing that role.
Interesting. That's what I'm beginning to like from you so far. Just opening yourself to who you are. But anyway, what's the biggest thing when playing Misaki Kurosaki in Bleach?
Well, she is such a pure, beautiful heart. And she's the reason that Ichigo is such a beautiful heart because she taught him and she gave him her heart. And and then Bleach came back. So I did her in the newest Bleach also.
Yeah, I did notice it from because all I know is that 1 year ago I did a video for you on my YouTube channel, the Bleach Thousand Year Blood War characters and voice actors of the #1, and I included you in there since it's your poem that you've spoken of before Tsurimi Length did your younger self, and and it's too bad that boy. Boy, why did my friend Richard Epcar have to go on to kill his wife in the show? And it's so how do I say it? Like irritating to say it. But you being part of Bleach, just a very best choice ever, because no one does a better job than you, being a wise mother who just helps the main character represent who he is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always. That's what I often come to experience. But you know something? You remind me so much of my mother because of your great personality that represents within you.
Thank you. I'm sure
Always.
your mother's a fabulous, beautiful human.
That's why thank you. I'm glad you say that to me. But last question I like to say to you, but what is the most awesome but biggest thing when being part of Genma Wars as Parame?
Um, that's that's another role. I remember doing it, but I don't remember what the character was.
Well, easy. You sound like, "This is something I have been waiting for. Master, why do you have to persist on goading me?" And
Oh.
Richard's like, "Because you are useless to me. That is the reasoning." So, so, so let me ask you
Very
this.
good.
How do you like being part of that show so far, being casted by Ruben Arvizu?
Oh, I haven't seen Ruben in quite a few years, but he cast me in a lot of his anime. And it was always a joy working for him. It was always a joy working with him.
Wow, that's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to learn from you these days. Well, Ellyn, it's such an honor to finally meet you at last, just like I did with Richard.
Well, it's lovely speaking to you, Sebastian. And my apologies to you that it's taken so long.
Don't worry, it's okay. It's just like I've done it with everybody else right there. And that's why you answered my questions and I've understand everything, just like everybody else. And that's why you're a very good person right there. And that's my very reason why one day when my voice showcase for you is complete, I will show it to you when the time comes.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Always. There's one more thing before I go.
Yes.
This one thing that one of the people recommend asking you is this. When you look back, is there anything you would have done differently when you started your voice acting career?
Well, when I go around to conventions, I do a panel, and I've done it all over the world, called Women in Anime. One of the things that's really difficult for all women, particularly women that don't have high little girl voices, there's generally 2 female characters per show, maybe a couple more, with a million guys. There aren't as many roles for women as there are roles for men. And there aren't as many roles for women who are women, as opposed to
Women who, when they talk and they do little girl voices, and they go, "Hi, my name is Ushimo, and I'm here to meet,"
that kind of voice. There's a lot of desire for voices that fall within that pocket. But I am hoping that as anime evolves, that there will be more roles for women, but not only more roles for women, but more roles that recognize people with natural speaking voices.
Wow. Wow. That's something I've come to understand. And you know what? When I when I get into California and to represent myself as a voice actor, I will gladly to help you and Richard make that dream into reality. And I
Uh,
promise you with all of my heart, I will make sure that I will manifest what you say into reality. You can count on
uh,
it.
well, thank you so much for that. It's about respect and respect for women and respect for men
And
and respect for women being who they are. We come in all different colors and shapes and sizes, men and women. And women don't all look the same. And neither do men, but they tend to make women more the same in an anime. And I hope that there's a movement that comes about where there are more women roles in each of the series, in each of the movies. And I hope that these characters are represented with more reality.
I see. That's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to learn from you. Well, Ellyn, it's such an honor to finally meet you, and tell Richard I said hello, and hopefully we see each other through Facebook and Instagram, my friend.
I look forward to it.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Sebastian, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays.
Of course. Tell Richard I said hello.
I will.
Bye.
Bye.